Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Vegetarian Cooking with JJ. In this week's episode, I'm going to be making a very simple and delicious vegan Japanese curry rice, also known as kare rice, as they say in Japan. It is super simple, even beginners can make it, but it's going to be rich with flavor. And the main difference between a Japanese curry and an Indian curry, in case you didn't know, the Japanese curries tend to be milder, and generally they're more thicker in comparison to the Indian curries. I'm really excited to get started, and of course try it in the end. So without further ado, let's head over to the kitchen and get cooking! First of all, I'm peeling 2 carrots. And I'm slicing them on an angle. I'm peeling our Japanese purple sweet potato. And I'm going to cube some of the pieces. We'll want about a cup's worth or so. And I'm dicing up 1 yellow onion. I have this teriyaki tofu burger. I'm just going to cut a couple of the patties into cubes. And I'll mince up some ginger. I'll use a couple of teaspoons worth. And I'm mincing up 4 cloves of garlic. I'm cutting some kale leaves off the stems and chopping it up. I'm grating half of an Asian pear to add a nice mild sweetness to the dish. Destem your shiitake mushrooms and slice them up. And I'm going to use 5 of them. For our Japanese spice blend, I'm using 1 tablespoon of curry powder, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, a half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom. We'll use a teaspoon of fresh thyme, half a teaspoon of black garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a half a teaspoon of cayenne, the equivalent of 1 large bay leaf. This is all crushed up. And here's our whole spices we'll be using: our fenugreek, our fennel, and white mustard seed. I've added some oil to our hot Dutch oven, and I'm adding in our diced onions. We'll add the whole spices except for the bay leaf for now. Let the onions soften up and start to get a little bit brown. And I'm adding the Japanese sweet potato and the carrots. Get it all mixed up. We're adding in all the spices here, but I'm reserving the garam masala for later on. I'm adding 1 liter of veggie stock. And don't forget to add your ginger and garlic. Along the way, we'll be adding our tonkatsu, our rice vinegar, and our vegan Worcestershire sauce. And our hidden ingredient, which I'm revealing to you, which is our 1/4 cup of coffee. Japanese curry rice came about in the Meiji era, between the mid to late 1800s. This is when the Indian subcontinent was under British colonial rule. Now, the British Navy, they used to make easy, flavorful curry dishes, and this would help sustain them on long journeys. Now, there's a tale about the British Navy getting shipwrecked and washed up on the shores of Japan, and the Japanese saved them. And one of the items they had on hand was curry, the curry spice. So the Japanese Imperial Navy started to use the curry. They found that it was a very efficient way to feed a large crew, and it wasn't bland or boring. And over time, the Japanese made the curry dish their own. By the 1950s, Japanese curry tablets came out in stores. Now keep in mind, if you do opt to buy these curry tablets, they're likely to contain MSG and palm oil. And the palm oil is not RSPO certified, which means if a company is under the RSPO certification, they're held to much stricter standards to preserve and protect the environment. Without this certification, palm oil contributes to deforestation and risk to endangered species. Fukujinzuke is a Japanese pickle commonly served with Japanese curries. Now, my Japanese store nearby is closed Mondays and Tuesdays, so I could not pick this up. This fukujinzuke is usually made with daikon radishes and a few other veggies. It has that vinegar taste and a little bit of soy sauce in the mix. So I just substituted it with a mystery Asian pickle. You're welcome to guess in the comments below, but for now, it will remain a mystery. This just adds a nice little contrast to the rest of the dish. Speaking of mysteries, in Japan there's something called kakushi aji, which means hidden flavor. It's something that's added by chefs and cooks in Japan to add an extra depth to the dish. However, it is subtle, so it may not be detected by an ordinary taste tester. It's usually a secret ingredient. Our curry's been cooking for about 10 minutes, so I'm adding the cut up vegan patties, our shiitake mushrooms, and a couple of handfuls of the kale. Stir it up. I'm adding a couple of cups of water because we have some rich spices going on here. Add in your 1/4 cup of coffee, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of tonkatsu, and a teaspoon of our vegan Worcestershire sauce. Stir it up nicely. Add in the shredded Asian pear. We'll turn the heat down to low and cook it for 45 minutes to an hour. Nearing the end of the cook time, you can add a cornstarch water mixture 1:1, just to help to thicken it up. Since we're nearing the end, I'm adding the fresh thyme now. And I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of our garam masala. Let it cook for 10 more minutes or so. You can time things out so your rice is ready at the same time. Now it's time to serve our beautiful Japanese curry rice. Add the mysterious Asian pickle and our sliced green onions. It's that time again, everyone. I get to try our delicious Japanese rice curry. Kare. Kare. We got a wonderful depth of flavor. There are so many layers to the flavors in this dish. And the nice little pop with the Asian pickle was a great call. Don't forget to taste test the dish at the end and adjust the seasonings to your own personal taste. You may find you want a little bit more sweetness, and that would go well with the Japanese theme because their curries tend to be a little bit more on the sweet side. So there you have it, everyone. Another delicious recipe to add to your recipe booklets. Our Japanese rice curry. It is vegan, it is delicious, and it is so simple to make. Remember, if you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell notification icon so you don't miss a single video. There's going to be a new video popping up every Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern, so you don't want to miss it. This is JJ signing off, keeping things interesting in my kitchen and in yours. Bon appetit.